kind of give everyone who doesn't know an idea of your songs that you've been on back in the day, some songs that people might recognize.
Well, I mean, it all depends. If you ever heard of a movie called The Best Man?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With, you know, all of the black actors.
Yeah.
There's a voice that opens up that movie. It's what you want, baby. That's me. My Coca-Cola commercial, which they actually used my first single, The What Ifs, for when I was 4 months pregnant. Jay-Z Unplugged, that album, or Fade to Black, the tour or the movie. You know, my albums, Denials, Delusions, and Decisions, whether it's What Ifs or Self-Love or Do Your Worst or Free, in which we did a remix with my homie from back home, Freeway, on the song Free with Jaguar Wright, Philly. It was, I mean, yeah. I mean, the truth is a lot of people hear my music and don't even remember it. And that's the interesting part because of the way that the game is manipulated. You know, there's a lot of great artists that should be remembered. And people like to call them one-hit wonders, or they didn't take their career seriously, or they were difficult. But the truth is, they were moved out of the way for a reason. It happens to a lot of people. And you know I'm not lying.
Talent ain't always a requirement in this game.
A requirement. Talent is not required.
Not required. It's not required
at all. And matter of fact, the more talented you are, the harder you have to work because everyone's betting against you. And that's, you know, that's my whole argument with Chris Brown. You know, I'm so sick and tired. I'm so sick and tired of people not acknowledging that boy for what he is. And he is the best of his generation. I don't care what anybody says. You put him on the stage next to Usher gonna disappear. Trey Songz gonna disappear. Bobby Valentino gonna disappear. Jackie's gonna disappear. There is nobody in his generation that can pull off what he does, and in free natural form as a dancer, unchecked.
I was watching the video today with him and Sierra. It was off the chain. Yeah.
In the trucks.
Yeah.
With the running with the when they brought back the butterfly. I like how they changed the name. That's the butterfly.
I had never seen it before.
That was hard.
Pop up on my doggone timeline. And I was like, oh damn. I never saw him in concert before. I've seen him dance, but I've never seen him do it to that degree in a show.
It's like going to a Michael Jackson show, but with a more hip hop edge.
Okay, got you.
So it really brings in more of the street culture, and I love it. And shout out to some of his, you know, choreographers that he's worked with throughout the years. Like he worked with Richmond. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but Richmond was the dancer from the dance crew in Oakland Housing Authority.
Okay.
And they were from Richmond. And Richmond was, you know, one of Chris Brown's principal choreographers. I used to date Jammer.
Okay.
And Corey, who's also known as Kato, was in he worked on the choreography for the last Aaliyah video for Rock the Boat. They also did Michael Jackson videos. So to see Chris Brown leaning into Michael Jackson dancers who were principal dancers in the video, and those were the people that he brought on to do the choreography. I don't even think anybody realized how many dancers went out of business when Michael Jackson stopped Michael Jacksoning, and a lot of them were hired by Chris Brown. Like nobody talks about that.
Okay. He had a lot of people working. He had huge productions on videos and anything else he did. His concerts, everything was always first class, huge.
Thanks to Clarence Avant,
who
put him in position to make that happen.
That was my dude. I met him. I didn't really know him personally.
Nobody knew him.
I knew all his downline.
Yeah, but nobody knew him. I don't think anybody knew.
We met. We had a brief conversation, but his name kept being in all the conversations
everywhere.
I had before I met him.
Everywhere.
His name was in all the conversations.
If it was relevant and there were numbers attached to it, he was there.
My executive producer was Larkin Arnold when I was with Sony.
Okay.
And Larkin was managing Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and he was all in Sherelle and Alexander
Mhm.
O'Neal, and all that whole little
I
camp.
love me some Alexander.
Okay, all that whole little camp was. They were the hottest things going at that time.
I know.
In fact, just a quick.
If you were here tonight,
The whole
ooh,
Prince thing,
yes.
anything that had to do with Prince of Minneapolis,
That was
was
everything.
getting a deal.
Yeah.
In fact, when we turned our album in for CBS, Jesse Johnson's Free World was the hottest thing on the radio.
See, I remember Flight Time.
Okay.
And I worked with Flight Time.
Okay.
And shout out to my baby, Prof T from Low Key.
Okay.
Because he was one of the writers that mentored me as I was coming up. So
Okay.
yeah, I came in there through Michel'le Horton, which was my intersection to Gerald Levert. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Gerald Levert was one of my mentoring writers when I was coming up. He was in my life from the age of me being 15 until he died.
Wow.
And me and Scott Storch, we used to ghostwrite for him.
Did you really?
Yeah. When me and Scott were dating.
So would you BMI ASCAP boy?
I'm BMI. I've been BMI since 1994, 30 years now.
Your check should be pretty good. They should be. Both of be.
Should be.
Writers, publishing, something. Talk to me.
Oh, listen to me. I made my fair share, but right now I still have a lot of things to figure out with how Mr. Carter has been collecting so much money on my private royalties with forged documents.
I got a guy.
Please go more into that.
I got a guy.
Can you go more into that, please?
I mean,
I would love to hear about that because
Lonzo, I don't want him to get a phone call.
I ain't got no money like that. So you can suing me is a waste of legal fees, okay? I ain't rolling like that, okay? We just hanging out. If you waste some legal fees, please, I'm probably gonna just concede anyway. Just get out of my life.
It's something
Figure out
that
what you're gonna do.
happens quite often to female artists who find themselves in not good standing with men in power. You know, my ex-husband forged a lot of documents that enabled the Roots and Mr. Carter to financially abuse my accounts, my budgets. I'm owed at least $25 million from Mr. Carter alone. Which is why the gaslighting attempts on my life and hiring insane stalker bloggers, like all of this stuff that they're doing, it's what is that called? Tortious interference. You know, the 6 companies that I went to where I financed full album budgets out of my pocket, and just weeks before my release date, the companies are bought out, other companies going in a different direction, and they took my masters with it. Yeah.
And you
5 companies worldwide.
I
insisted after I left the major system, after I left Geffen, and after Artemis went out of business, which, by the way, was the first major independent deal that I set up for my company, Jackie Entertainment. And guess what? As my song Free was going all the way up on